Hi students, welcome to lesson Religious Composition in India, Features of Different Religious Groups. Introduction. Religion is referred to as a system of beliefs, practices and values concerned with the sacred. It is related to supernatural entities and powers which are considered as the ultimate concern of all mundane existence among human groups. Religion plays a major role in Indian way of life and the most important value in life. Religion is present in all societies of the world in one form or the other. Religion may be understood as a cultural system of behavior and practices, worldviews, ethics and social organization that relate humans to an order of existence. In the entire animal kingdom, only humans have religion. Through religion, humans communicate with their own concepts of superhuman and supernatural powers. Religion consists of two components, beliefs and rituals. Rituals are merely manifestations or demonstrations of beliefs, and hence several people may be seen who are extremely religious but do not perform any ritual. Contemporary Indian society has plurality of religions. Indian society is in fact confronted with two kinds of religious traditions. First, religions which emerged in India, that is the Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism. Second, religions which took birth in other countries but gradually spread in Indian society, such as Islam, Christianity and Zoroastrianism. According to 2011 census, following are the percentages of different religious groups: Hindus 80%, Muslims 14%, Christians 3%, Sikhs 2%, Buddhists 0.70%, Jains 0.37% and others with no religious affiliation. Data is not available for Jews and Zoroastrians, Parsis, that is, it is estimated that the Parsis should be around 0.6 lakh and Jews just a handful. Tenets of Hinduism. The basic tenets and the normative principles of Hinduism. It is said that Hinduism is belief in equality, karma and rebirth, moksha as the ultimate goal of life. Toleration, non-violence are the features of social life. The principles of Hinduism are based on beliefs, ideals and pervasiveness, liberalism, hedonism, utilitarian and spiritual transcendence. The basic tenets are an ancient religion. Hinduism is the ancient religion of India. It has the distinction of being the ancient religion in the world. The doctrines of Hinduism are not embodied in one sacred book, nor does Hinduism have a single historical founder. Universally, it is accepted that it is the single oldest of all religions the world have ever seen. A way of life. Hinduism is tolerant religion based on belief. It does not believe in fanaticism. Any Hindu is free to choose his God, follows his spiritual calling and pursue the path of salvation. It is way of life of the masses more than a religion. Predefined objectives. Hinduism believes in an eternal and ultimate force called Brahman, the universal soul. There is a tangible relationship between Brahman and Atma, the individual soul. That is the main concern of Hinduism. The life of a Hindu involves the pursuit of four goods, the concept of dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Dharma symbolizes material pursuits, kama symbolizes have and desire and moksha symbolizes salvation. This can be achieved through the manifestation of gunas inherent in human beings. There are four stages of life for a Hindu: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. There are four obligations of a Hindu: obligations to sages, to the ancestors, to God and to human beings. Sacredness. Sacredness is the cardinal asset of Hinduism. It is related to purity. It permeates all areas of life and existence. There are sacred books, sacred prayers, sacred mantras, sacred places, rites and sacred individuals. Synthesis of many sects. Hinduism is based on synthetic philosophy. It is not a uniform monolithic religion. It allows many sects within its fold. It is the amalgamation of Vaishnavism, Shaivism and Shaktism. Nature worship. To a Hindu, the whole nature is divine. Among gods and goddesses, Hinduism includes animals and plants. Cow is considered as a sacred animal. Value themes. Puja and Bhakti are aspects of Hinduism. It has 4 values such as hierarchy, holism, karma and transcendence. Hierarchy implies ranking in terms of high and low, denoting the notion of inequality. Holism is manifested in the relationship between individual and groups, and Hindu individual is not autonomous. He is constrained by the norms and values of the society. The theory of rebirth explains the concept of karma. Transcendence implies beyond the limit of possible experience and knowledge of the individual. Belief in God. Hinduism asserts that God is pervasive and easily accessible to the people in one form or the other. It believes that God is the ultimate cause, the ultimate principle of morality and aim of life. God is Nirguna, Nirakar, that is the formless, and Suguna, Sakara. God manifests in 3 forms, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, the creator, the sustainer and the destroyer. Idol worship. The most important feature of Hinduism is its belief in idol worship. The idols are worshipped in the temples. They vary according to the people and self. Purity and pollution. The concept of purity and pollution constitute the essence of Hinduism. They pervade the whole of Hindu life. The rule of purity and pollution vary from region to region. In commensal relations, physical distance from other group, intercaste marriages, menstruation, death, life of an individual on birth. A person undergoes purificatory rite according to the seriousness of the violation of purity rule. Dynamism. Hinduism has universal applicability for its dynamism. The modes of worship and religious practices, but even the religious spirits have changed from time to time. The religious reformation movements in India have led to its reinterpretation. Thus, Hinduism is more than a religion. It is a philosophy. It is based on justice and harmony. Islam. Islam came to India along with the Muslim invasions. It arrived in late 7th AD when Arab traders came to Malabar coast. Islam believes in one God, monotheist, and which profess fatalistic acceptance of Allah's God's will, submission to Him, results in peace. In the Islamic perspective, religion is not seen as part of life or special kind of activity along with art, commerce, etc. Instead, it is the matrix and worldview within which all the activities should take place. Holy Quran is the most sacred book of Islam, which is supposed to contain the revealed words of God. God revealed to Prophet Muhammad through angel. Prophet Muhammad is the interpreter of God's message and perfection creation of God. Hadith is the book of sayings by the Prophet himself as well as recordings of his sayings by his followers. It deals with all details of legal significance, moral and spiritual teachings. Sariyat, divine, contains concrete embodiment of will of God. Life from cradle to grave is governed by Sariyat. Tariqat is the spiritual path which represents the inner dimensions of Islam. It prescribes 5 duties as the primary duties of a Muslim. They are belief in Allah, prayers 5 times a day, the giving of alms or charity, zakat, fasting, roza, a pilgrimage to Mecca, Hajj. Christianity. Christianity came to India in different phases through Portuguese occupation of Goa, Daman and Diu in 16th century and later on through the Britishers in the 17th century. According to Syrian Christian tradition, Apostle Thomas, one of the Jesus' original 12 disciples, came to vicinity of Cochin in 52 AD. The constituents of Christians' religious life include faith in Jesus Christ as the messenger of God, active service and love to the neighbor. The population of Catholics is more. Pope is the supreme head in all religious affairs. Bible is the holy text of Christians. Christians are divided into 2 groups, namely Protestants and Catholics. The latter are subdivided into Latin Catholics and Syrian Catholics. Each group and subgroup is an endogamous group. Sikhism. Sikhism emerged in the 15th century. It was founded by Guru Nanak 550 years ago. The term Sikh originated from the Sanskrit word Sishya, which means disciple. There are 10 Main Gurus of Sikhs, the teachings of Guru Nanak were incorporated in the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikhs, which became a symbol of God for Sikhs. The fifth Guru, Guru Arjan, compiled Guru Granth Sahib and built the Golden Temple at Amritsar, which became the holiest of Sikh shrines. The 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, imparted military training to the Sikhs to help them defend themselves. On Baisakhi day of 1699 at Anandpur, Guru Gobind Singh ordered his Sikhs to assemble before him as was customary and created a new brotherhood of Sikhs called the Khalsa, Pure One. 5 men selected for their devotion to the Guru were called Panj, pious, given nectar Amrit for initiation into the brotherhood of Khalsa. The members of the new brotherhood were instructed to wear the 5 symbols, the 5 Ks: uncut hair, a comb, a steel wrist, god, a sword and breeches. The initiated men took the name of Singh, lion, and the women Kaur, princess. Sikhism propounds monotheism, worship of one god. It also opposes the caste system and believes that all men are equal. However, the ideas of karma and rebirth from Hinduism are accepted. Buddhism and basic tenets. Buddhism was one of the new religious movements in India which had its origin in the 6th century BC. It is rooted in the traditional Indian religion called Sanatan Dharma. It is one of the 3 major forms of Indian religions, the other 2 being Hinduism and Jainism. It was founded by Gautama Buddha, son of Suddhodana, the king of Kapilavastu. He had a life of seclusion for long 24 years. He led a temporary family life and had a son. He was fascinated by the life of sannyasi and he adopted the life of an ascetic, leaving family comforts and wandered from place to place. In quest of knowledge, he settled in Gaya for meditation. He got enlightenment through deep meditation. The enlightenment gave him the answer for the questions he was wandering all through relating to life, its sufferings on account of old age, disease and death. Meditation let him know that sufferings of human beings were caused by the desire. Sufferings could not end so long as there was no end to desires. In order to put an end to desire, man must lead a noble and truthful life. Basic tenet of Buddhism. The basic tenets of Buddhism are triple refuge or 3 jewels. The Buddhist profession of faith is known as the triple refuge of the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. The Buddha is the enlightened teacher or the prophet, the Dharma is the doctrine given by the Buddha and the Sangha is the community of believers in the doctrine taught by Buddha. Anybody can become a Buddhist by reciting the triple refuge 3 times. Interpretation of Dharma. In Buddhism, Dharma have 4 meanings: the absolute truth, right conduct, doctrine and the ultimate constitute of experience. 4 noble truths. The Buddhist believes in 4 noble truths preached by the Buddha. The noble truth is that there is suffering and it is inevitable. The second noble truth is that there is cause of each suffering. It is known as desire. Desire is the cause of suffering. The third noble truth is that suffering can be removed. The fourth noble truth provides a detailed blueprint for the removal of the cause of suffering. Arya Ashtanga Marga or the Eightfold Path. Buddhism prescribes the Eightfold Path, popularly known as Arya Ashtanga Marg, for the achievement of Nirvana, which involves the end of all suffering. They are right view, right aspiration, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right meditations. Scriptures of Buddhism. Buddhism provides 3 basic scriptures known as Vinay Pitaka, Book of Discipline, Sutta Pitaka, Book of Sermons and Abhidham Pitak, Book of Doctrines. Buddhism is categorized into Hinduism. No concern of God and regarded Buddha as perfect man whose precepts and examples were to be followed by each individual, and Mahayana Buddha as God and evolved an elaborate metaphysics involving a pantheon of gods and goddesses inspired by love for fellow beings. Forms of Buddhism. There are 4 major forms of Buddhism. They are Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana or Tantra and Zen. Jainism. Jainism was one of the most important religions established in India during 6th century BC, founded by Mahavira, the son of Siddhartha. He was one of the Jinas. He called himself Mahavir Jain. The word Jain is derived from Jina, which means the conqueror. The underlying philosophy of Jainism is that renunciation of worldly desires and self-conquest leads to perfect wisdom. This faith believes in total abstinence and asceticism by the Jinas and the Tirthankars, crossing makers. The crossing refers to the passage from the material to the spiritual realm, from bondage to freedom. There are 24 Tirthankaras. Rishabdev was the first Tirthankar and the 23rd Tirthankar was Parsvanath and 24th was Mahavir. There are 2 main sects, Svetambar, white cloth and Digambaras, unclothed. The third sect is Sthanakvasi, who is not represented in images. Jainism derived the basic principles from Upanishad and denied the authenticity of Vedas and the efficacy of the rites enumerated in them for the purpose of salvation. The principle of non-violence was the foundation of Jainism. Jains believe in soul, theory of karma, cycle of birth and death. In order to lead a noble life and attaining salvation, Mahavira advised his followers, 3 Ratna or 3 gems, to adopt right faith, right knowledge and right action. The 5 old disciplines of non-violence, truth, honesty, sexual purity and indifference to material gain is for personal virtue and also for social good. Jainism prescribed certain code of conduct for the Jains. Fasting and austerity were considered essential for self-purification. Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is the oldest religion of the world, which was propounded by Zoroaster, a prophet in Persia. It is also known as Parsism. The first Zoroastrians to enter India arrived on Gujarati coast in the 10th century, soon after the Arabian conquest of Iran, and by the 17th century most of them settled in Bombay. It was originally a religion of nature worship. All natural objects like fire, water, sun and air are sacred. Zoroastrians are basically fire worshippers. Zoroastrian practice is based on the responsibility of every man and woman to choose between good and evil, to respect God's creations. The religious founder preached monotheism. He was the first religious prophet to expound a dualistic philosophy based on the opposing powers of good and evil. The followers are called by the name Parsis. They worship fire in the temple and offer daily prayers, Navjati, usually hymns uttered by the prophet. Zoroaster, either in home or in temple before the fire, which symbolizes the realm of truth, righteousness and order. Zoroaster prescribed a religious code in the form of scriptures in Zend Avesta. Judaism. Judaism is the religion of Jews, which is the smallest religious community in India. They are homogeneous group, conservative in attitude and orthodox in temperament. Their sacred religious text is Torah and they considered masses as their god, and their place of worship is known as synagogue. The 3 main communities of Jews in India are Ben Israel, Kerala Jews and Baghdadi Jews. The above lesson gives us the knowledge of religious composition and their features in India. From the above lesson, we have learned that there are nearly 8 religious faiths followed and practiced. They are Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, Zoroastrianism and Judaism. Among all the religions, Hinduism is the dominant one, followed by 80% of the population, and the second dominant religion is Islam, followed by Christianity. Every religion has its tenets in the form of conduct and way of life. There are festivals associated with gods and goddesses, but also the nature god Vedas. Upanishads, Ramayana and the Bhagavad Gita are the sacred text of Hindus. Quran is the sacred text of Islam. Bible for Christianity, Zend Avesta for Zoroastrians, and Torah, the sacred text for Judaism.